welcome back to another day in the neighborhood. Today, we're going to go over an MBA rearmost axle diff input seal. There are the driveline bolts, 4 of them. We're going to go ahead and release those with a 13 millimeter. Always be careful prying on that thing because you don't want it breaking off and hitting you in the face, like it may or may not have happened to me. As you can see, sometimes it puts up a fight, especially if it's rusted where the movable joint is. If it's not flexing, it'll be crazy hard to get off. Make sure you spray that down with some PB or lube it up real good before you take it off. See, by now, it should have came off already. That joint is definitely seized in the inner axle driveline. We're definitely going to have to look at that afterward. Alright, so it took a little bit, but we got it free. Set it off to the side with a ratchet strap or bungee cord or something so it's not going to move and smack you in the face when you're working down here. Or if you like surprises, just rest it against the canister there on the brake chamber, and you know what? You'll see what happens. Got this fancy MBA socket here for the input, for the yoke removal. Slap it on there with a 3/4 gun and try your luck. As you can see, the Milwaukee 3/4 couldn't handle it. Had to give it a shot though. Always like putting it to the test. Now time for the big boy, pneumatic. And since the audio was cut off in the video, I'll go ahead and do the sound for you. Yep, that's pretty much it. If she wants to fight you, go ahead and go forward and then hit it again in reverse. Do that a few times and it should break free. If not, maybe start saying your prayers. Now the secret here is to smack the hell out of that yoke. I go from up top and I spin the wheels and I smack like crazy until it gets to about here, then I go ahead and pull it off. Magic, huh? So there is the notorious seal that's been leaking. There's got to be an easy way to take it off. Get yourself a drain pan underneath. Get yourself a seal removal tool. Get yourself a good point to hit it at. And watch the magic. So sometimes it helps if you push it inward and then pry on it from the top or hit it again with the seal removal tool. So that's what I did. I went ahead and pushed it in a little bit, trying to pry it out a little bit. As you can see, this one is stuck in there. It's not going anywhere. So we're gonna have to resort to some other tactics. Alright, so here's where you're gonna want to pay close attention. This is what not to do. Don't get under it and do not pop it out. Because if you can watch this in slow-mo, you're gonna see what happens. Oh, you see that? All over the face. This is not the money shot you want to see. But she wasn't breaking free and I didn't have a good hit point, so had to do it. Took one for the team, guys. You're welcome. Alright, go ahead and clean up all the sealing surface, get some brake clean on a rag, clean it up real good so the next one goes in nice and smooth. We're going to check out the input shaft and see if there's any play going on. We're going to wipe down the bearing, see if anything's broken in there. We're going to just inspect what we can from the outside. In case you're wondering, there is no seal on that yoke like the other axles, Meritor axles. Here is that brand new seal. It's like Christmas right now, isn't it? Don't forget, when you do this, you're going to want a new seal, new nut, and new driveline bolts, or at least Loctite to put on the old ones. Just simply hit this with a hammer until you hear the metal ding. Ding! That means it's touching. Look it over, make sure we're flush. If there's any issues, go back over it. Right now, we're looking good. So what I'm doing here is I'm phasing the yoke with the opposite yoke on the other rear diff output shaft. I like to line them up so they're exactly the same. And that's just simply phasing it, making it all work harmoniously. Bra, 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 bra. What I'm checking here is to see if there's any play in that yoke. If there is, I'm going to want to continue hitting that thing with the 3/4 gun. If there isn't, you know we went far enough. So right here, we're looking at the nut, and there is an impact point that will need to be hit. Hit that with a punch, so it will not back off. That is kind of their contingency right there. She's not pretty, but she works. Time to let the real guns come out. Pick up that driveline, put it back in place, hammer it on, and let the magic begin. Make sure to go over each nut, tightening it down over a star pattern. And then you can smack it a little bit, make sure everything's flush, and then go over it again. Time to check the fluid level. Go ahead and undo the fill plug. See if anything comes out. No? Dip your finger in, and it should be at the very top. If it isn't, we're going to go ahead and add some more. This one needs just a little bit more. dripping and perfect. All right, last thing to do is go ahead and give everything a look over. Make sure everything's tight. Make sure you didn't forget anything because you don't want to spend any more money losing tools. Everything's looking good. I don't see any issues. All right, so what we're gonna do now is spray it down with some soap, send it to the wash bay, and steam clean the hell out of this thing so she looks pretty again. All right, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget, tap that subscribe.